Growing China threat. Chinese President Xi Jinping taking a hard stance amid privacy concerns and trade tensions with the United States, saying in a speech earlier today this: "No one is in a position to dictate to the Chinese people what should or should not be done. We must resolutely reform what should and can be changed. We must resolutely not reform what shouldn't and can't be changed." This weekend on Sunday Morning Futures, I spoke with House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes, and he gave me some startling things about his investigation into China. Here's what he says is most concerning right now. We've spoken a number of times on this program with you about how China is using its economic power and putting it on its military complex. Tell us what China is doing with regard to espionage in America.
They're moving in with leverage, like loaning money, building infrastructure. I think most concerning is when they get a hold of the electrical grid, they get a hold of the banking system, and then they go in with companies like Huawei or ZTE, and they offer basically free infrastructure, so free communications infrastructure. What the Chinese are doing with that is that they're ensuring that they control the communications infrastructure, so then they can monitor for economic purposes those businesses and others that they may want to get involved in, so that they have total control and manipulation capability over those countries and governments.
Joining me right now is retired four-star General, Fox News senior strategic analyst, General Jack Keane. General, it's good to see you this morning.
Yeah, good to see you, Maria.
Wow. From Devin Nunes on China. I mean, you know, Mr. Nunes has sort of choreographed what China has been doing with me all year, and I was worried about, you know, the military stuff, but they're going into various countries, in particular Africa, a lot of African countries, according to John Bolton, and saying, we'll give you a free telecom infrastructure, but it's their way to tap into spying. What are your thoughts on China's behavior?
Yeah, the Chinese are conducting economic warfare, and they're absolutely predators in doing it. They largely take advantage of emerging countries, where they go in and they put millions of dollars in the elites' pockets, get them to influence the government. They come in with extraordinary good loans to the government, but in the long term they have high interest rates, and they're building infrastructure, bridges, dams, highways, etc. And they force everybody to accept Chinese labor. They will not use local labor whatsoever, whether it's in South America, Africa, South Asia, Southeast Asia. And then over time, the interest rates rise on those loans, so much so that they default. And then the Chinese own all the infrastructure that they built. It's really quite extraordinary. The second thing they do, and what Chairman Nunes is talking about, they force them to accept Huawei and their telecommunication systems. Therefore, they own the personal intelligence of that country for generations to come, not just on the business side, but particularly on the government side and on the military side. It is absolutely extraordinary. We've never seen anything quite like it.
Yeah, but I mean,
and that is why
right.
This administration, the Trump administration, has identified China as the long-term strategic threat to the American people and to the security of the United States, economically, politically, and militarily.
And I'm sure that's right. I mean, we're seeing all evidence of it. But where is this going? In the meanwhile, our markets are selling off. There's all of this uncertainty over the two world powers in the world, U.S. and China. Do you think there will be any kind of an agreement in the year ahead between the U.S. and China, given that there are certain things we're not going to change?
No, I actually do think so, and I think the president is doing the right thing and standing up to China economically. We have to do it politically, and we also have to do it militarily. And listen, China is a behemoth, but when we bring all of our allies together with the United States and combine that economically and militarily, we're considerably larger than China, even in terms of its potential growth. And the Chinese certainly see that. What's happened is they've never had anybody confront them before, and that is what needs to happen.
Meanwhile, we thought that China was going to be helpful in North Korea. There are more North Korea tensions. The North Korean government slamming U.S. sanctions on the rogue regime. A report in the Journal shows that North Koreans are getting around these sanctions. It's titled this: North Korea turns coal into gas to weather sanctions. Isolated regime transforms an abundant resource to survive curbs on oil imports. Your reaction on the North Koreans getting around the U.S. sanctions?
Yeah, when it comes to the oil issue and fuel for to drive electricity, etc. There's two things they're doing. One is they're doing ship-to-ship transfer of oil offshore. And I felt for a long time that we got to get the United States Navy and our allies up there and start blocking that. The second thing is what you're talking about, is the gasification of coal. It's an old technology. The Germans did it during World War II when they were being pressured because of losing their oil production. South Africa did it when sanctions were slapped on them. And here's the kicker here. They're able to do this because China has given North Korea the technology to gasify coal. And it's helping them with about 10% of their oil production in terms of replacing that capacity level. So here again, China has opened the aperture. Yes, they say they're abiding by the sanctions, but no, the truth is they're helping North Korea. And we have got to get tough on all of this.
Yeah. Let me ask you about military spending, because we know this is front and center this week. The Congressional Budget Office releasing recommendations on how the U.S. could curb defense spending. Some of those recommendations including capping pay increases for service members, canceling purchases of F-35 Joint Strike Fighters, and stopping the production of Ford-class aircraft carriers, among others. What's your reaction here, General? Because, you know, there's all this worry of overspending. We've got a budget partial shutdown coming this week. Do you think these recommendations make sense or no?
Well, I think the whole idea of the Defense Department looking inside to find savings and significant savings is a good thing. And I think, you know, Secretary of Defense needs to be told to do that. He's already got a program to do that. I think we should let them figure out where the savings are. Capping military pay makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Okay. The
economy is good. We're being challenged in terms of recruiting and retention. We got to keep that pay up there with the private sector, so the military is competitive. We don't need to be ahead of the private sector, but we have to be reasonable with it. So when people look at the military and they say, well, yeah, I can raise a family there and have a reasonable life, quality of life experience there. We don't want them to have to come in and suffer to the point where we're only going to keep them for 3 or 4 years and then leave. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
But yes, the idea that the Congressional Budget Office is saying the Defense Department should take a hard look at itself and find programs to cut that are wasteful or not efficient. I'm all for it, and I think it's something that needs to be done.
And we should point out that this week is really not about defense, because that's already been taken care of in terms of this partial government shutdown.
I don't think, well, hopefully we don't have a government shutdown, but if we do,
okay,
the Defense Department will be fine.
General, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks so much.
Yeah, it's good talking to you, Maria.
General Jack Keane joining us there.